When the market turns, when the economy turns, the people who make it are the ones figuring out, keep the line taut, go around the corner. With all the opportunities that exist today, why haven't you reached your next level of income, life, and wealth? In most cases, we've been lied to. We've been told that if you find the right opportunity and you work hard, you can be successful. And that's simply not true. Millionaires, billionaires, and successful people have realized you need the foundation for wealth, the habits. And that's exactly what you'll be learning on the Millionaire Success Habits podcast. All success starts here. I want to start this podcast off by telling you a story. In fact, the story is so cool. I heard my dear friend Russell Brunson, who owns ClickFunnels, share this story. It's something that I did. He shared it, and it was so impactful that I wanted to share it with you guys, because I want to ask you a question before we start. Are you doing more of the things that can move you towards success, making more money, happiness, joy, abundance, freedom, and less of the shit that doesn't take you there? Now, that's a really obvious question. Seems pretty simple. You're like, I'm here to get millionaire success habits, Dean. That was pretty simple. Yes, but let me tell you this story, and maybe it'll all make a lot more sense. So this past weekend, I went away. You may have heard it in a previous podcast. I went away with some top influencers, people who impact the world: Russell Brunson, Lewis Howes, Trent Shelton, Brendan Burchard, Anthony Trucks, other amazing influencers. It was incredible. But we went away to Idaho to this trout farm. Trout ranch, I should say, not trout farm, trout ranch. Just a stream coming off a mountain, and it goes into these little pools, and it's just an amazing place to go fish for trout. And we throw them all back. So if you're worried about the fish dying, we throw them all back. Anyway, we went there to Mastermind to share our ideas. Masterminds are the greatest thing on the planet. I love them. They've changed my life more than anything, right? So we go there to enjoy each other's company, to fish, to hike, to do all these cool things in Mastermind. But this one day, we're going to fish. So we branch off into teams. There's 14 of us. There's 7 or 8 fishing holes. We get in teams of 2. I was with Lewis Howes. If you don't know Lewis Howes, great guy. You should follow him. Look him up. So Lewis and I go, and we are going to go in 7 different stations for 20 minutes each. So we go to hole number 1. Hole meaning, the stream coming off the mountain, crystal clear water. The stream comes by. It's a place to fish. There might be a big pool or a little bit of a pond. And you're going to fish there for 20 minutes. And there's like 5 different types of fish in these streams. So you want to catch all different kinds, the biggest, the best fish. And we literally have sheets to mark down what fish we have. This is a true competition. It's amazing. So they blow the whistle and we start fishing. Now, what has fishing got to do with you? You'll see. So in any business, let's get away from the fishing for a minute. In any business, there's some ingredients you need. You need to be passionate about it, for sure. You need to, if you have your own company, it's not, if you hate it and you're just doing it for the money, it's probably not thriving. It's probably more of a pain in the ass. So if you have a company that you want to thrive, or you want to start a new company, you need a passion, you need a desire to impact the world, impact people with what it is you're offering. Secondly, you have to have goals, right? You have to decide, a desire combined with goals. Like, I want this goal because I'm passionate about it and I desire to get to this next level. And you also, I feel, you need to be a little competitive. Like, you want to win. You need that push to do better than the rest. There's so much competition out there today. You better be a little politely competitive. You don't want to brag, but you want to be competitive. Well, let me just go back to the fishing story. I have a passion for it because when I was a kid, my grandpa fly fished, which is awesome. Fly fishing is fantastic because it's an art, right? You don't just cast it out and wait for a fish. You have to figure out the softest way to land that fly that weighs nothing and stick that fish and all that kind of stuff, right? So my grandpa did it. He died when I was 10. He was such a massive influence in my life. I loved him. He was like my dad when I was a kid. So I had a passion to fly fish. I also had a desire to do good, even though I haven't really fly fished maybe once or twice in the last 30 years. I had a desire to do good, to kind of impress my grandpa up in heaven. And then last thing, I'm competitive. I'm there with all world changers, badasses. I want to win. It was a competition. Me and my buddy Lewis Howes are going to go against 7 other teams. I want to win. So I have the ingredients. Like, that's how I feel in my businesses. I have a passion to change your life. If you're watching or listening right now, I'm a passion changer. I desire to make an impact on the world. And I'm competitive. I want to do as good, if not better, than the people in my space. So I had all those ingredients, but this was fishing. So why am I sharing this? Here's what I want you to think about. The playing field was completely even. We all were using the same exact fly rods. We were all using the same exact flies, the bait on the end of the hook. We were all fishing in the same exact streams. So everything was equal. Now, we kick, the buzzer goes off. Hole one, we're fishing, nothing. We really don't catch anything. I think I got one fish or one bite. And in certain areas, you could see the fish in this amazing stream coming off the mountain. Picture crystal clear water, probably 45 degrees. The water's freezing, and there's amazing trout. Trout are gorgeous fish. Some of them rainbows and brook trout. They're just gorgeous. Nothing's biting. So I don't hear many fish getting caught. And then we go to the next hole. Maybe one fish. The next hole, maybe two fish. And it's the same. Everybody's throwing in, not catching. So in business or in anything in life, the difference is I wanted to win. I had a passion. I had a desire. I was competitive. So I start observing what's working and what's not. Here's what I realized. As I'm going through these different holes, these 7 different places to fish, I realized that if you walked up to certain areas, the water is so clear, you could see 6 foot down like it's nothing. Trout are really smart. When you walk up, if I could see the fish, they'd take off. So they were seeing me when I was coming up. So I realized if I hid or didn't walk right up to the stream when the sun beaming on me with casting a shadow, I'd have more luck. So as I'm going, I realized that with fly fishing, you got this fly. They don't just come, trout are really smart. They don't just come grab the fly. They kind of see if it's real. They kind of just like put it in their mouth and spit it out quick. If you leave slack in the water, when they go to bite it, if you don't stick the hook, you miss them. So I realized, oh, here's another thing. I got to get rid of all the slack in the line. I'm watching all the other guys with line. They go to pull it and they really just pull the slack out, but they don't stick the hook in the fish. Remember, the fish, not one fish was damaged during this contest. We had some great pictures, but no fish was damaged. So I realized that. I also realized that in a busy stream, so this water's coming down through the mountain, right? I realized that if there's a rock or a log in the stream and the water goes around it, when it goes around, you ever see a little pool around the backside of a rock in a stream? Well, that's where the flies and the food for the trout go. So I realized if I let a fly flow down the stream, just like a real fly would, and it goes around this rock and lands in that spot, immediately, boom, a fish will hit it. I also realized going through the 5th hole, 6th hole, I also realized that the fish are most apt to hit a fly as soon as it lands on the water. It's like it lands, it's the spontaneous, irrational buyer type fish, like, oh, fly, boom, and they hit it immediately. And if you're not ready to stick them, you miss it. So as I'm going, just like in your business, just in your life, just like in relationships, here's what I know. Lewis, badass, competitive as hell. We went and shot skeet afterwards. He beat everybody. I mean, the guy's amazing. But he really didn't have a desire to fish. He wasn't that excited about it. He didn't have a goal like I did. I had the passion. Lewis, fishing right next to me, every single hole, was doing the same thing. Cast it out, reel it in, hope to catch a fish. I was learning. I was figuring out what worked, what didn't work. Walking up to the stream, didn't work. Leaving slack in the line, didn't work. Casting out in the middle of the lake, didn't work. How to find the rocks, how to find the fast-moving currents. So I'm learning and growing and throwing away the stuff that doesn't work, and I'm doing more of the stuff that does work. In the last hole, we are on hole 7. Up to that point, no one had caught more than 1 fish in that area. Lewis, standing close to me, caught 1 fish just like everybody else. By the time I got to hole 7, I caught 12 trout in that one area. One was one of the biggest trout of my life. It's 23-inch long rainbow. It was it was heavy to hold. It was so big. And I caught that by sneaking up to this one section of the stream on my hands and knees. I saw downstream this rock with a big current with a whirlpool on the other side of it. I let out the line. I kept it really taut with no slack. I let the line go around the rock. As soon as it went around the rock, I felt a little tug and I pulled it and I caught a 23-inch rainbow like this thick, unbelievable. So what was different? The trout were the same. The water was the same. The flies were the same. The line was the same. The poles were the same. All overachievers. The difference was I had a passion, and I was observing what worked, and I did more of it. And I observed what didn't and did less of it. So let me ask you, in your business, are you like Lewis, who really didn't care and he's just hoping to catch fish like a lot of the other guys that weren't that passionate about it? Or are you like me, where you're learning, growing, changing, and evolving? When the market turns, when the economy turns, the people who make it are the ones figuring out, keep the line taut, go around the corner. Think of this fish analogy for the rest of your life. Listen, if you like this right now, if you love this story, make sure you go to subscribetodean.com. Go to subscribetodean.com. All my podcast followers are going there in droves right now because you're getting free stuff and discounts, and we can keep you informed when we go live with a new podcast and all those great things. So make sure you go. That's the only way that this podcast gets out to more people as well. And I want to make sure you don't miss it. But back to the story. In your life, in your relationships, are you figuring out what is working and doing more of it and learning on the fly and figuring out what's not working anymore and doing less of it? A lot of times we don't. If your relationship is stale, that's what you're doing. Same with your income. Same with your business or the business you want to start. Do you want to be the guy that just goes and throws a line and go, there's no fish in here? Listen, if I would have just not learned anything and caught 3 fish for the day, I would have been like, they were kind of biting. I thought this place was amazing. I caught 26 fish. I had the time of my life. It was unbelievable. Everybody else, here's what I'll leave you with. Everybody else was fishing. And because I was learning on the job, I was catching. Do you want to be the person that just fishes and do what everybody else does? Or do you want to be the person that catches? Figure out what's working, do more of it, be observant, be an active participant in your own success, and do less of the things that don't work. That's my story. Appreciate you guys. Remember, all success starts right here. Listen, if you like the video, make sure you click subscribe right now so you never miss an episode. And while you're there, click the notification bell so you'll know when the next one goes live. You can always follow us on Instagram, and if you don't already have Millionaire Success Habits, you can grab it for free at deansfreebook.com. Remember, all success starts here.